And this is a Sunday night 7-minute sermon with a rebuttal. So I'm going to have, what do you call yourself? What's your title?
Pastor Dave.
Pastor Dave. Pastor Dave is going to give a 7-minute sermon. And then Pastor Lawrence will give a 7-minute rebuttal sermon. And we're going to have lots of fun with this. And then we'll post it to the public because it should benefit our fellow American citizens and also our worldwide citizens because we have a message of hope. Go.
Well, I was inspired by Michelle Obama's speech. They did a documentary on first wives, and she's first wives for the president. Anyway, she's a very motivational speaker and inspiring. So I decided that tonight, being early October, a month away from the election, that even though I'm not running for anything, but I have something to say to America. And what I have to say to America is important. And I all ears, listen up. This is something for me too. I'm not the only one that has this message. And I'm definitely probably the first in line to learn it and live it. So anyway, here it is. 1 Corinthians 13, verse 4. Love is patient. Now, if you were me, you'd have to learn patience really quick of the person I'm living with. I don't know what to say. It's very, very challenging. You have to learn patience every day, every night, and every morning. You have to wake up and learn patience. Patience is a virtue, lost, strayed, or stolen. Now, if you don't have patience living with the people I live with, I've got 2 cats here that are out of control. I got Pickles and Olive. It's making a kind of a salad here. Pickles is really out of control. Olive is a little sweeter. Pickles is a boy and Olive is a girl, and Pickles is a teenager. Now, you get to live with these cats, you got to have patience. You got to have a lot of patience. You got my wife and Pickles and Olive. That's a challenge. And if I can learn patience, believe me, there's hope for you too. There is patience in the air, patience everywhere. Now, she's trying to take over this. You see what it's like when I try to speak and be the only one on the camera? She tries to take over. To live with a person like that takes patience. You either got it or you don't. I have it. I guess I'm gifted with patience. So love is patient. So I'm a loving man, obviously. Now I want you to learn from me how to be patient. Now if you can learn that one skill, just one skill, it's called patience or long suffering. It's the same thing. You have to be able to be a long suffering person to be me. So take it from me. If I can do it, you can do it. Believe it, it's not that hard. Just work on patience. Now, you might even name your animal that too, patience. Because you need it. It's important. But I name my kitties Pickles and Olive because Pickles and Olive is a Mediterranean dish. And so I've got some Mediterranean cats that drive me crazy. It's just the way it is. And so I'm learning patience and long suffering. I'm learning the kind of things that are important for you and me to learn. There's things that we should have learned when we were in kindergarten. And sometimes we don't express it until we're 66. And then we really got to learn it. And if you don't learn it by the time you're 67, which will be next year, it's too late. So you got a year to learn it. So I'm working on it. I'm working on the fidelity of being patient. And that is a picture of love. If you can just stay with that one thought, patience, long suffering, hang in there until you drop dead. And you don't have to worry about it because when you die, you'll die. Believe me, you'll go to heaven. So don't worry about that. Don't get caught up in where you're going to go. That's going to cause all kinds of impatience around the people around you. So don't let them distract you. Don't get off the wheel. Stay focused and work on patience, because I've got 2 more minutes to keep on speaking, and I know listening to me reiterate these same things, saying it 15 different times, is boring. But if you're going to sit and listen to me, you better learn patience, because patience is where it all begins and where it all ends. If you don't got patience, you don't got nothing. So I'm telling you, you got to be patient to live with a guy like me and a girl like her and 2 cats like these. It doesn't make it without patience. So, I have a Bible, and in my Bible it says love is patient. It starts with patience as the first virtue. Why is it the first? Because it's the most important. You don't put the second or third when you put down importance. The first most important aspect of love is being patient. And if you can't be patient, you might as well get out of the game. But since you're not going to get out of the game, you're spending time listening to this video, you've already got it. Hooked in, hook, line, and sinker. You are hooked into being patient, because it takes patience to listen to this for 8 minutes. And believe me, if you can continue doing that for at least 1 more minute, then you know what? You're a superstar. Believe me, you're a superstar. Now, it's time to hear from the opposing argument. Thank you for your time.
Patience? I can tell you about patience. In fact, I know a dog named Patience, golden retriever dog. I have experience with dogs and dictators. I have experience with so many dogs. It ranges from golden retrievers to Jack Russells to Dachshunds and Pomeranians and mutts, Boston Terriers, and experience with cats and sugar gliders and bats and rats. Lots of rats. Also known as men. Also known as dogs. So you just heard from somebody who read from 1 Corinthians. I'm going to randomly open up my duct tape Bible, because this is my Bible. It's worn out for a reason, because I've read through it many, many times. So I'm just going to randomly open it up. Ezekiel. I don't know what I'm going to read here, but it doesn't matter, because it all applies to something. Son of man. This is Ezekiel 33, verse 10. Ezekiel, a watchman. Son of man, say to the house of Israel, this is what you are saying. Our offenses and sins weigh us down. Ooh boy, aren't we weighed down. Especially in America. So our offenses and sins weigh us down, and we are wasting away because of them. Except for at least a third of America who's obese, so they're not wasting away. Trump's obese. I think there's some kids in Africa who are still wasting away. There's still that imbalance, of the haves and have-nots. Anyways, we're wasting away because of them, and how then can we live? Say to them, as surely as I live, declares the sovereign Lord, I take no pleasure in the death of the wicked. Neither do I. I don't take any pleasure in the thought of Trump dying, even though he's a buffoon. I don't take any pleasure in the thought of him dying any more than I take pleasure in the thought of my ex-husband dying, or his lawyer dying, or myself dying, or my partner dying, or anyone dying. I mean, death is not it's an end of something, so it's not pleasurable. Maybe God takes pleasure in death because God created mankind to die. And so God, in his joyful, playing around with us like a cat playing with mice, batting us around and putting us through fires and putting us through floods and putting us through Trump and putting us through changes of, democracy and fascism and socialism and, Hitler and racism and all those isms and ologies. God must be having a lot of fun. But anyways, as surely as I live, declares the sovereign Lord, I take no pleasure in the death of the wicked, but rather that they turn from their ways and live. Turn from your McDonald's quasi-food ways, you fast food sinners. Turn from your gold toilet ways, you fucking turd sinners. You think you need clean water on a gold toilet to flush away your turd? No, you do not. Really, all you need is a log out in the woods. I know these things because I used to be out in the woods. My dad was a logger. So, you can wipe your butt with a leaf. Anyway, so turn from your evil ways. Why will you die, O house of Israel? Why? I can tell you why you'll die, because everybody dies. I don't care what house you come from. You can come from the White House, from the Black House, the House of Israel, the House of Muhammad, a Buddha, the House of Joseph Smith. You can come from the House of Orrin Herring. You can come from the House of Robert Jones. You can come from any house. You can come from any house on my block, and you're still going to die. But how do you live in between birth and death? It's that little dash in between that matters. Therefore, son of man, say to your countrymen, the righteousness of the righteous man will not save him when he disobeys. And the wickedness of the wicked man will not cause him to fall when he turns from it. Sins of omission. The righteous man, if he sins, will not be allowed to live because of his former righteousness. If I tell the righteous man that he will surely live, but then he trusts in his righteousness and does evil like Trump, none of the righteous things he has done will be remembered. And he will die for the evil he has done. Just the way it is. It happens that way.